Hi, everybody. I'm Ronni.
And I'm Jennie, and we are
Who are we, Jennie?
the Heart and Soul Sisters.
We're the Heart and Soul. Yes. So, welcome to this week's podcast. This season, we're talking about some of our favorite people, folks that have influenced us in our recovery and helping us to grow even more. And
Yes.
this week, we're talking about one of our favorite people, and that is Dr. Kim DEramo.
We love you, Dr. Kim.
So I found Dr. Kim DEramo at Kripalu in the summer of 2017. And she was, her workshop was supposed to be talking about the mind-body connection. And I remember talking to my daughter and saying, because she's very much into this, she was working, I think at that point she was working on her master's in social work. And I said, how would you like to go do this with me? And she's like it didn't really speak to her. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Kripalu, I'll go. Like, how bad can it be, you know? So, right, like mind-blowing, phenomenal stuff.
She
And
needed to be there.
yeah, she totally needed to be there. And it was so cool. It was just a workshop of about 25 people. Maybe it was very small, very intimate. So it wasn't like some giant lecture hall or something. And so she, let me see if I can get as much of her story right as I can. She's an osteopathic trained physician. She's trained in emergency medicine, and she worked in emergency rooms. And she's empathic and highly intuitive. And she was able to, in ways that you've described, Jennie, actually intuit what's going on with people, physically in their body, but also energetically. And but she was living a very stressful life in this work, and she had put so much pressure on herself going through residency and training in medical school and then doing this work that she had made herself ill, essentially. And
Yeah.
she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and they were telling her she'd have to stop running and be on this medication for her whole life. And she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, she'd been suffering for like a year with all these symptoms and trying to get diagnoses. And when she finally got this diagnosis, it just like brought her up short. And she said, wait a minute, and kind of just took a step back and checked in with herself and said, this is not my truth, right? This is not true. This is not who I am. I am not someone with an autoimmune disorder who's going to have to be on medication for my life and can't do the things that I want in my life. There's something else going on. And so, what she essentially kind of discovered, and what she sort of communicates to others, is that a number of things. First of all, we have the capacity to self-heal, because that's what she did. She said that she finally just slowed down and said, this is not true. There's something else going on. What is going on? And what she discovered for her was that she had generated a lot of stress in her life and had suppressed a lot of the emotions associated with that stress, and it was coming out as physical pain in her body, and her body just sort of attacking itself in her case. And so what she does now in her work is she encourages people to be in tune with their body, right? To recognize that the body registers a lot. It registers our stress. If we're chronically stressed, and we're not dealing with whatever the source of the stress is, that's going to come out in our body. It could be in GI issues. It could be in migraines or chronic stress headaches. It could be autoimmune disorders. I'm sure a lot of people have autoimmune disorders, apparently. And so there's that piece. There's so much to what she does. Is like trying to unpack it is difficult. But there's that piece. So a lot of people are drawn to work with her who have diseases or illnesses, and they're trying to heal from them. They're trying to heal physically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that wasn't the big piece of what she did in that workshop when I was initially introduced to her. What she did in that workshop was she had the ability to connect with people and kind of read what's going on with them intuitively and help them just sit with the emotion associated with whatever upset is happening. And in that group, there were all kinds of things. There was a woman whose son was addicted to heroin and she was afraid he was going to die. He was going to OD. He'd come close a couple of times. I had an issue at work, an interaction I had with a student um, that was really destructive for me. And there was some fear associated with that. And she would just she would lead us through meditations, and then she would say, who's got something that's coming up for them right now that you'd like to try to work through? And then one time I raised my hand, and she actually had me come before the group. And she said, we were there like 4 days, and every day she would do this with, a number of people, such that I think pretty much everybody who was willing to talk about their stuff in front of the group got a chance to work with her one-on-one. And it's just sitting with people, and she and you can do this yourself, right? This idea is that we're experiencing emotional upset or upset in our bodies. What if we just sit with that, and instead of her language is making ourselves wrong
I
for
love that.
feeling sad or stressed, or for being ill, right? For having this diagnosis of something that we don't want. What if we could just sit with it and let it be okay? And so what she says is that when you resist these things, like if there's something happening in your life and I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, like you're putting your hand up like a big stop sign. What if you could just let it be okay, just the way it is? What if you could just stop resisting? And it doesn't mean that if you're being abused, it doesn't mean you sit there and take more abuse, but that you could say, okay, this is what's happening. And maybe I made some choices that led me here, but I'm not going to shame myself or make myself wrong for being where I am right now. What if I could say, okay, this is where I am. And wherever I am is okay. And whatever emotions I have around being where I am are okay. And what if I could just be with it and not make it wrong? I could create just a little bit more ease. She liked to say, can you get just 2% more ease around whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
And that opens up space for something else to happen. If you can stop fighting it and resisting it in the moment, does that clear your thinking a little bit and a new idea occurs to you? Does your energy shift and you invite or attract some new person or some new possibility into the situation that changes it? So the whole thing is that when we're in something we don't like, all we want is to get rid of it and change it and make it better.
Avoid the pain.
Avoid
Right.
the pain, exactly. And her philosophy, what she talks about is, what if you could, this is the question she asked, right? What if this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me? And when she talks about this, she uses lots of examples from her own life. When she thought she was literally coming apart, she had lost the love of her life, like nothing was ever going to be okay. How could this be the best thing that ever happened? What opportunity is this opening up for me? And so it's just beautiful, because I've had moments where it's like, okay, I'm not going to make myself wrong for this. And all of a sudden I feel better, right? If I'm not heaping a pile of shame on me for
Right.
I got myself in this position or whatever, all of a sudden I feel better. If I'm just not doing that anymore, right? If I just don't make myself wrong. Or if I'm feeling really awful, what if I just stop and take a moment and let myself feel awful? Instead of saying, I got to stop feeling this way, or I need to go do something else, or I need to change the situation. What if I could just feel the awfulness of it first?
Yeah.
And then maybe what I eventually decide to do will be a little bit different, because I haven't just tried to push it all away or suppress it. I know I'm doing all the talking. One other thing she said that I really love before I throw it to you, Jenny. I'm sorry, but I
No,
just love
you're
her so
fine.
much. The other thing
I
she
know.
said in this, and we've used this a lot, she said, just think about your life as you've got this little jar. You ever seen a jar that's got dirt at the bottom and that's filled with water? And if you let it sit, the shit just settles to the bottom, right? The muck is at the bottom. And something comes along, an experience in life, an interaction with somebody, or a relationship you have with somebody that really drives you nuts, and they shake up your jar of shit. And so now you're all
taking
in
all of my
turmoil. So okay, I'll stop. You talk about
I
that.
know.
You talk about that. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. I get so
No,
excited
that's so
about her.
funny. I know. And it's awesome. And I'm
I'm
so
always
excited.
sending you
But
her
that's
videos, and
funny.
you
Yes.
talk
And
about the jar of shit.
and we want a jar of junk. Yeah, but it's like it settles down. Somebody comes up and really walks all over your boundaries, or pushes all your triggers and shakes it all up, and it's like, okay, how how is this the best thing that's ever happened to me, right? It's
Yes.
like, yeah, it doesn't feel great, does it?
No.
But that is so amazing because another mantra we use. Okay, how is this the best thing that's ever happened to me? When with our kids who are, you know,
Yeah.
young adults and trying to figure it out, right? The whole world of adulting.
Yes.
And and we talk about it's okay to feel what you're feeling and not try to numb the pain or the disappointment or the frustration and go ahead and sit with it. And we talk about going for walks and letting yourself feel what you're doing, because sometimes you just got to move. You
Hmm.
just need to physically move. And I had an experience, I cannot remember, it was just a really rough, melancholy day. And it was related around our parents, and the past. And I just thought, okay, I'm just going to sit with this. But I have to move. I have to do something because I couldn't just sit still. You just get
Right.
that fight or flight feeling. So I thought, I'm going to weed my perpetual, never ending rock paved stone walkway. Why we did this, I don't know. But seemed like a good idea at the time.
Right.
And so I'm out there weeding. And it's really funny because it's similar to when we were kids, we were weeding the brick walkway.
Uh,
And so I just embraced it. And I had a little bit of tearfulness and release. And I literally weeded until my hands cramped up and I couldn't weed anymore. I was probably out there for 8 or 9 hours. I mean, it was an
wow.
all day thing. And I just let myself feel whatever it was. And at the end of that day, I was physically exhausted. My knees, my back, my shoulders, my hands were
Crunched.
done. They were done. But I felt this huge release. It was just a lightness of, you know, and I love this because I have little different alarms on my phone for, like, to remind me to, well, not just get up, but okay, meditate or whatever. And I have some of Dr. Kim's questions that were in her book.
Mind
That
toolkit.
Yeah, toolkit.
Yeah.
And it says, "Why is my life so wonderful today?" And it's really focusing on, we talk about this a lot about what do I have that's going right? Because I think a lot of times we tend to focus on the stuff that the shadow self, or the stuff that isn't working, or but it's, I mean, she's amazing. and
Yeah.
and so those are great little reminders of um focusing in on getting in touch with your body and yourself and your feelings, and being present. Another way to be present, and to embrace all of those parts of yourself instead of stuffing, burying the junk in the bottom of the jar,
Yes. Yes.
because when you're present with it, and you really send love to that part of yourself, it's amazing how you can start to release and shift some of that old buried energy, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
old buried energy blocks that you're carrying around with you. The back pain, the neck and shoulder pain, the GI upset, the migraine headaches are energetic blocks in our bodies. And trying to be more in touch with ourselves, and being more, I think it's just we've said this in a number of different ways, but just being more comfortable in your own skin and with all of who you are. And that's what's so important. I think about Dr. Kim is she's sharing her own story of how she was just kind of checking out, driving, pushing, herself on, and we all do that to varying degrees. I
Right.
think we power through it. It's even changed the way I'm present when I'm walking. And you and I've talked about this, Ronnie, but We carried a lot of stress in our neck and shoulders, both of us, for years, had tremendous amount of neck and shoulder pain.
Yeah.
And it's literally changed the way I was talking about this with my daughter Veronica when we were walking last night. I said, just let your neck and shoulders and shoulder blades relax down your back. None of that needs to be tensed up. Feel what it feels like in your body to move. I said, allow your pelvis to do what it needs to do when you walk. It needs to move, it needs to sway. So the
Mhm.
legs can freely move forward and backward without tension, and it will release the tightness in the low back. And we're talking about this. And I said, it's just, and it really is, it's connected to all these things that we've learned from all these wonderful enlightened people, and Dr. Kim is one of them. And it's about, how does it feel in your body? How do
Mhm.
you feel? And and checking in with yourself all the time, on a regular basis. Um, and it changed the way my daughter felt, and it released the tension in her low back as we were talking about it. And that's going back to Dr. Kim,
That's so cool.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
the great thing, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
no, go, go, go.
I was just going to say the great thing about her is she's not anti, allopathic medicine. So, yeah,
Right,
and we aren't either, right? If we had
right,
an issue, we
right,
would go see a physician and we would take medication and, surgery if necessary. This is not a replacement of medicine, but it's
right.
understanding that medicine doesn't have all the answers to what's going on in our bodies. Even
Absolutely.
the science now is showing what chronic stress does to bodies, right? It changes brain structure, it changes muscle patterning. So the idea here is that you are starting with the body, recognizing the wisdom of the body. And so the other piece of what she does is that she says that your body knows. So like if you are trying to make a decision, and you're not sure what you should do, if you can presence yourself and calm yourself physically, maybe take a few breaths, close your eyes, place your hand on your chest or your abdomen, something where you can like really feel connected to your body, you can say, okay, what should I do? So you have two options. I can do this thing or I can not do this thing. And so you can say, okay, I'm going to do this thing. And you just kind of feel what that would be like to do whatever it is. And you say, okay, I'm not going to do this thing. And you feel what it would be like not to do that. Your body will tell you. Your body will
Absolutely.
tense up for the thing. It's like, ooh, that's really not a good idea. For me, and we've talked about this before, for me, it's kind of like we were writing about this actually. That's why we were talking about it.
Yes, we were.
I can feel it in my chest mostly,
Yep.
right? And sometimes I might feel my shoulders kind of hunch. They creep up towards my ears. It's like, oh, that's not a good thing. It's just like this clutch, I just fold in on
Right.
myself. Whereas if it's a good thing, if my inner knowing, my wisdom that's manifested in my body, because that's the vehicle for my soul right now, if it feels like a good thing, I can feel the warmth and the openness and the expansiveness of it. So that's the other thing, is that she sort of counsels people to trust their body. You know things, right? You know things.
You feel
Um,
it. Mhm.
yeah, you can feel and even with medicine, right? Or a supplement, or something you can put in your body. You could try that out and say, does this feel like it's going to be something that's going to promote my well-being, right? If I eat this food, when you're looking at food choices, is this going to nourish me? Is this going to promote my well-being right now, right? That's the basis of intuitive eating.
Mhm.
Um, so about trusting yourself, because a lot of us, as you said, numb and disconnect because we feel like our body betrayed us, particularly if we've been physically abused.
Yeah.
Um, we can feel like our body has betrayed us and we don't trust it, or we've numbed ourselves, like we're living from the neck up because everything,
Because
other things have hurt, or we've been
because we've been checked out for so long
right.
in survival mode. Yeah.
So getting back in touch with the body, making a friend of the body, so the body keeps the score, stuff connects here.
Right.
Um, but yeah, those questions about like you said, what's right about this that I'm not getting?
Mhm.
The other thing that she'll ask, what? So you're struggling with something. Well, there's something about this that's an opportunity, or an opportunity to do something different, to grow. Um, Oftentimes to do something even better than you ever imagined. So what if you could just be open to that?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the whole sitting with whatever is going on and letting it be okay, as it is,
Mhm.
which is hard to do because if you're in real serious pain physically, or you feel like things are crashing down around you emotionally or in your relationships, it can be hard to just sit and say it's okay, because everything is telling you it's not okay. So
Mhm.
it can be a really difficult spiritual practice, but just being willing to be with it, right? And she talks about emotions as energy that have to go somewhere. And so
Yes.
if you shook up that little jar and you're just trying to push it all back down as fast as you possibly can, then you're just still stuck with
That's
the energy.
that's not working.
Yeah. Hasn't worked for me.
No.
Hasn't been a good strategy. So, gosh, I sort of feel like I'm all over the place because there's just so much of she talks about that is just I've found so useful. And
Absolutely.
this may or may not resonate with people, but our goal here in sharing the things that we've discovered along the way is that for some people, we talked about Dr. Dyer, he may really speak to you. For other
Yeah.
people, Dr. Kim may really meet you where you are. And you may do what we've done. We've kind of hopscotched across the
Hopscotch.
pond by, we find somebody new. Oh, what do they have to tell us? And of course, many of them
Absolutely.
are coming. They're coming to very similar conclusions, right? The advice that they would give us, if we can call it that, is very similar. Um,
So much overlap, but just still, I think it's like I always talk about water dripping on a stone, right? Eventually, it makes a little dent,
yeah,
and that that's
yes,
kind of that's kind of how I look at it. It's like,
we're
oh
dented
yeah,
stones.
little hard headed, but we're making progress,
We are.
So that's good.
We absolutely are. Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah. Anything else we want to say about Dr. Kim?
She's a beautiful light.
She really is.
Yeah, yeah, look her up on YouTube and listen to some of her videos. She's wonderful.
She has
Yeah.
just short little things she puts out. Sometimes they're a minute and a half, little thoughts she has while she's out walking, and she'll, do a quick video and post it up. She does a live session, if you will, a live kind of talk or workshop on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So you can tune in and you can comment, and she looks through the comments and she will answer questions. But she's got her original book, I believe, is called The Mind Body Toolkit. I'm
Hmm.
finishing a second book, but she does a lot of workshops. She has, some of them are live things that you can do. Some stuff, some web content. Some of them are it's web content of things she's done before, and you can work through at your own pace. But so you're drawn to her and want to work with her more, there are lots of different opportunities to do that. She does one-on-one sessions, um, and people have testimonials of all the things that she's helped them with. I keep looking for her to come back to Kripalu. I'm not sure if she's going to. I mean, they're not open now, but I'm not sure she's going to do that again. I think she's doing other things now. But I'm really grateful to have had that opportunity to just be another one of those examples of, hey, this looks interesting. I want to go. You
Follow
know,
your intuition.
yeah, didn't even know what it was going to be about really, but it just looked like something interesting. And and we all use the Dr. Kimisms, and I just shared
Yeah,
a video with you yesterday. I watched one of her more recent videos and said, "Oh, this is a good one," and shared it with you and our kids.
yeah,
So, and sometimes she's saying, it, at some point you're saying the same thing over and over again, just like as a parent, you run out of advice to give, but maybe you're saying way, or now that I've been, following her for a couple of years, maybe I hear it a little bit differently because I'm not the same person I was, and when I first encountered
mhm,
her 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah.
So, but I love her. I can't say enough good things about her. So, anything else we
I
should say?
agree. I
You
agree.
agree
She's
with
just
that? Totally endorse her.
a beautiful ray of light, and just yeah,
She
give
is.
her a listen. She's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, stay tuned. We're going to continue as we move through our season with more folks that we think are worth trying out. And we haven't decided totally who we're going to talk about next week, so we won't preview it, but just know it'll be somebody we love.
All right. Awesome.
So until then, we're going to wish,
Wishing you
yes,
so much love and light.
and many, many, many blessings. Be well, all.
Bye bye.